Hello, my name is Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to show you how to make another chicken dish. This is a favorite of mine. This is a chicken roulade. And chicken roulade is great because it's a rolled chicken. You can do so much with it. Today we're going to stuff it with ham, provolone cheese, and we're going to make a really nice creamy honey mustard sauce to put on top. But you can stuff it with a lot of different things, fillings. You can even do crab. Whatever you want to do, you can stuff it, roll it, and just have a really nice presentation. This is something that is going to look like it takes a lot of time, but once you've done it once or twice, it's fairly easy, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So let's start cooking. So for the roulade, first thing you're going to do is take your chicken breast, and you're going to pound it out flat, and you're going to do the whole thing nice and flat, and you're going to get this really nice piece of chicken. And make sure the skin side is down, so that's your nice side on the outside. And then what you're going to do is take 2 pieces of ham. Again, you could use different types of meats and things. And I'm just going to lay the 1 piece of ham and then the second piece like this. And I'm actually going to let the ham hang over a little bit, and you'll see why in a minute. Now, the thing is, it's okay to work with the ham, the chicken, and the cheese with the same gloves and everything, as long as you pulled out what you need. So I'm not going in the entire pound of ham that I bought at the grocery store. I pulled out 2 pieces, and that's what I can touch with my contaminated hands, because it's all going together and it's going to cook. But if I would be right here grabbing into the pound of cheese that's not going to cook, then I would have my cross-contamination. So those are the things to think about so that you don't have cross-contamination. It's important to pull the product that you need first when you work with the raw chicken. And I'm going to fold the ham over just a little bit. And the reason I'm going to do that is that's going to help keep the cheese in, all right, so that the cheese doesn't melt and go all over the place. Then what you're going to do is just sort of roll this up. And I still left it on the bottom layer of saran wrap, so you can actually use that to help you, all right. So you can see how I'm just rolling this over like this. All right, and I'm creating the roulade. All right, so I'm just rolling it over, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie it, okay? So I'm going to set it to the edge of my plate here, and I'm going to use the kitchen twine like we've used before, and I'm going to lay it over top of the plate, like this. And again, I still have my saran wrap down. Take about 4 pieces, and then you're going to take your roulade and bring it over top of the 4 pieces. And I like to work with it cut side up so that I can make sure that I'm tying it all together. Okay. And I'm going to start with, this guy's kind of big. I'm going to start with the end here. And you just take your strings up, and you're just going to, I like to just tie little square knots, right over left, left over right. It's the Eagle Scout in me. It's what I like to do. And it's going to secure it. Now, some people are thinking, I made this at home already, and I use toothpicks. You want to use the string. The problem with the toothpicks is they get stuck in the piece. I was at a restaurant and had the roulade, and I was so excited for it. And then, you know, the first bite I take has a hidden toothpick. And nobody likes that. So the string is something that you'll be able to cut off before you serve it. And it's just going to make life a lot easier for you. Then we're going to tie our last one. And again, I like to tie with the seam up so that I can see what I'm doing. And then you're going to see at the ends, we'll take our scissors and we'll just cut these little strings. Make sure we discard them so they don't become part of any kind of contamination. And then now the next step is some people like to just season them and put them right in the oven. But I like to go ahead and sear them first on the a saute pan to give them really nice flavor. Then we'll finish it in the oven until it's internal temp of 165. So let's go ahead and start to sear this. Okay, so we're going to get started here. What I do is I have a pan going with some olive oil in it. I want it to heat up until it gets to the point where it's hot enough so that when I put the chicken in, it's going to start to sizzle and sear right away. The chicken roulade, I'll put it over here so we can see it. And all I want to do before it's going to go in is I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit of seasoning. I'm just going to do a little bit of fresh ground pepper and a little bit of salt. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn this off here. I got my sauce started. Turn that off a while. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and put it in. And I'm going to go the good side down first because I really want that to get a beautiful sear going on there. I just want to tilt it a little bit so my oil's all over the place. Oh, that's looking great. Now that I have that side up, what I'm going to do is go ahead and hit it with this a little bit more pepper and a little more salt. Then let's take a look at our sauces. Let's wash my hands here from the chicken. Now, the sauce is going to get a creamy sauce, so we're going to get our cream back up again here. I had to turn it down while I was getting the chicken ready. And what you're going to do is put in 4 ounces of Philadelphia's Finest cream cheese, and we're just going to let that cook in there until it softens and we can turn it into a sauce, and then we can add the rest of the ingredients. Now, as we're sauteing our chicken here, we're going to look at it, and oh, that is looking so good. You're pretty much just going to sear it all the way around. All right, you're going to sear all of the sides so that it just has a beautiful look to it, and then it's going to go in the oven to finish cooking. Or if you're doing this ahead of time, you could sear it this way, and then when you're ready for service, then you can heat it to the temp of 165. All right, that's looking gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is turn it this way. Oh, look at that. And I'm going to do the bottom of it right now. And the bottom is where we had the ties and where we have the 2 sides coming together. Let's take a look. While that's searing, let's take a look at the sauce. The milk is starting to cook up here. So I'm going to take a whisk and just see if the cream cheese is starting to soften. And it's important to do this step before you do anything else. All right, you don't want to add anything else to this mixture until the cream cheese is melted and it softens up. Sometimes people like to wait and then they put the other stuff in and then they wonder why the sauce isn't smooth. We really need to give this cream cheese time to cook through and to get really nice. Okay, so you can see it's starting to get thin. So we're just going to go ahead and let that cook a little bit more. In the meantime, let's check on the roulade. Oh, it's looking beautiful. So we're going to get it on the one side and then the other. And one thing you're going to remember when you're working with the chicken is that, or anything, it's going to stick to the pan at first until it reaches that Maillard reaction, that really nice sear. Now, going back over to the sauce, now what we're going to do is start to really get that cream cheese to blend in. Okay, so we got the milk and everything starting to cook up. You can see the more I stir, the smoother the sauce is going to become. And that cream cheese, when it melts down, that's really going to make the base of this sauce. Rather than making a roux and a bechamel, we're going to get it out of the Philadelphia Finest here. Okay, and you can see now that that's really getting nice and smooth. And then let's take a look at our roulade. Oh, that is gorgeous. Okay, see how that sears everything together? And then what's going to happen is that's going to go ahead and go in the oven, 350, and that's going to bake until it's 165 in the center. One thing with the roulade, because it is, the chicken breast and everything, make sure you don't cook it over 165. We don't want it to dry out. So if you are going to, make it on the one day and the next day, the best bet is to just sear it like this and then put it in the oven the next day. So let's take a look here while that sauce is getting ready. We'll turn this over. Really, really nice. We'll give the top just one more little quick sear, just because this looks so good. And I just have a sheet tray here that I'm going to go ahead and just put this guy right on the sheet tray. Oh, this is so beautiful. Okay, so we're going to take this right on the sheet tray, and we're going to put this right in the oven, and then we're going to finish with the sauce. Now, as you can see, the sauce is cooking, and it's starting to bubble a little bit, and you can see how nice and creamy it got. It's not all chunky monkey like it was. And here's where we're going to add the heavy cream. So we started with the milk, And now we're going to put in the heavy cream, and we're going to let that mix in. Oh, that's going to make it a really nice sauce. And then we're going to put in the rest of the ingredients. So the rest of the ingredients are, it gets the honey. All right, so we'll take our honey, have a spatula, we'll put that in, so that gives it that honey mustard flavor. And then to really give it that nice mustard flavor, so it's more like a nice rustic sauce, versus just being, something like you'd put your chicken tenders in. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put the mustard in, and then we're going to give it a stir. Okay, we're going to whisk that up. And then once you get that whisked all together, then you're pretty much going to go ahead and let it simmer. So I'm going to go ahead and let this simmer for a little bit until it starts to thicken up. Okay, so now that our roulade has come up to temp, we're going to take it, put it on our cutting board. And one thing you're going to notice, you do a little bit of the cheese leaks out, but if you put the ham, if you tuck the ham like I showed you, it kind of keeps everything in there. And then what you're going to do is, I like to turn it over, and you can either use a knife or your scissors, and make sure you cut the strings, okay? So remember how many you put on there. Make sure you cut them, because you don't want to serve them with the strings. That's the whole point of using the strings versus the toothpicks, because it's very easy to find the string. So that's 2, and we got 2 more. So we got one here. Take that guy off. Alright, and then the last string. And remember, you want to use butcher's twine, kitchen twine. You want to use something that is a food grade twine. And now we're ready to slice. And what you want to do is slice really nice, even slices, because that's what you're going to portion with. So I'm just going to start here, the end one, just kind of real slow. Oh, look at that. Beautiful roulade. The chicken's done. You got really nice color on the ham. You got the cheese is still in there. Okay, it didn't all just like ooze out the ends. Oh, look at that. That looks so good. And then we'll just keep cutting. And then after you cut it, then you can go ahead and plate it. So let's finish cutting this guy up, and then let's go ahead and plate. Okay, so to finish up, what we're going to do is we're going to carefully shingle this on our plate. Now I'm going to do it on a platter, so I'm going to do the whole roulade. If I was doing this for service, I'd put maybe 3 or 4 pieces on the plate. But here I'm going to do the entire roulade so you can see it. And look at that cheese, the provolone. It just kind of has that mozzarella properties there. Oh, look at that. All right, we'll just keep going. So cheesy. We'll just kind of hide that underneath. And then we'll just finish with the last 2 pieces here. Oh, look at that. That looks so good. Okay, and then what we'll do to finish is we'll go ahead and finish it with the sauce that we made. And that's a really nice creamy honey mustard sauce. And you can balance it out if you want to have more of a honey flavor, or if you want to have more of the mustard flavor. That's up to you. But definitely a roulade always goes nice with a sauce. That way if it does get dry, the sauce kind of helps you out. And also it keeps it from drying out before service. So there you go. There is your chicken roulade. And again, you can make that many different ways. It's just taking your chicken breast, rolling it out, putting your filling in it. I love to give it a real nice saute, beautiful color, and get it in the oven to finish, and then pair it with some kind of a sauce. And there you go. You have a beautiful chicken roulade. This happens to be a ham and provolone cheese with a honey mustard sauce on top. So I'd like to thank you for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you real soon right here in Mr. Polk's kitchen.